Well, hello, and welcome to Desert Mountain Apothecary. I'm Will Brennan, natural lifestyle expert and founder of Desert Mountain Apothecary. Today's video is a little bit different, and today I thought that it would be exciting to go through all of my Christmas decorations and to get them all in one place and give them a good going over and declutter them, because now is the time to take your decorations to the thrift store to donate. They don't want them after the holidays, and now if you get them out of the house and into the donation bin this weekend, another family can use them this year. So it's great to get reacquainted with what you have and also to be confronted with just how much you have. In my mind, it was probably about half of this. So let's get right on into it. First, let's go through these suitcases. These vintage and nearing antique leather suitcases were bought from a European friend of mine, and they sit out all year long in my living room. So I don't feel too bad about storing Christmas decorations here because they're not really taking space away from anything else. So let's see if I can remember how. Ooh, okay. Alright, so what is in this one? This one has a swag that goes around one of the mirrors. It's certainly seen better days. It's been used for many, many Christmases, but it has the advantage that it's this stiff wire kind of ocean pine, kind of scrub pine looking thing. And when it's on the very top near the ceiling, it doesn't look too bad. So this year I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to string these together into an actual garland and have them hang down the sides a little bit. So that's going to be a little bit different, and as messed up as they are, they do always kind of look normal when they're up there. So that's one little project, turning them into a garland. I'm going to connect them with soft wire. I find that soft wire, you can just do almost anything you need to. And I found a couple of pine cones, not too many. I get rid of a lot of stuff every year. Usually I try to declutter at the beginning and the end of the season, so I'm not putting away clutter. No, but I saved 3 pine cones, and I love these pine cones. This is a keep, so I think I might just put these out early. So I am glad to find one of my garlands. Still have another one yet to be accounted for. Okay. Next suitcase, right? What do we have here? Alright. So these are some bits and bobs. These are some silver tassels. These came from a very ancient set of drapes and serve no purpose, but they end up on the garland every year. And they do serve a purpose on the garland, because I keep putting them up, so I must like them on some level. These very, very sad poinsettias are just so sad, but when they're up there on the garland all the way up by the ceiling, they kind of look like something. So if they look this bad up there, I will throw them away because I don't even think the thrift store would want these. So these will most likely go up. Okay. Ooh, now these. Now I'll show you what I've done. This is the wire that keeps the tree attached to the ceiling. It's always good as a double safety measure against certain kitties climbing the tree. So these are all bows made of organza ribbon with wire edging, and each one has its own little ornament hook so it can be carefully positioned. Now I like to put these sort of upside down with this, instead of hanging from a branch, wired to a branch. So it's kind of just beautifully floating there as if it were tied. And this is a great finishing touch. It's a very ethereal look. Those will definitely, and those are just made from very inexpensive ribbon, and all it took was a little bit of time. And they miraculously spring back to, it's amazing what the wire does. They can just be shaped and brought back to life every single season. So now here, this is absolutely gorgeous. This is so beautiful. These are all pine cones that have been lovingly spray painted over the years. And look at what's hiding underneath. There's good things in this suitcase. I especially love the turquoise ones. Now I'm so tempted to paint them all white because I've been adding white things, but spray painting is such a chore. It's not good for your lungs, and frankly, these are just good enough the way they are. These are delightful, and these are gonna go outside. These are from the 99-cent store, and they're just plastic turquoise snowflakes, and I think they're just lovely. These go outside. This is the outside bin. This is a good box. This box has things that will all get put up. It's going to be a rainy Thanksgiving for us on the West Coast and in California, so I don't think we'll be doing much outdoor decorating until after we dry out a little bit. It'll be nice to be cozy and inside. One Thanksgiving, I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, it was the most amazing, beautiful, warm, sunny, very, very clear day. And on a total lark, we just got in the car in the morning and drove to San Diego and had a beautiful day at the beach, and then drove home, took a nice hot tub, and then we ended up eating our catered-in dinner that we had made for us in front of the fire in our bathrobes. And that was a really, really good Thanksgiving. But this will be a little more traditional Thanksgiving with cold weather. Alright, so this may be the most antique of all suitcase. But this has these lovely artificial poinsettias, and I typically do not like any artificial plant, whether it's silk or plastic or metal or anything. I think they just collect dust, and they're totally, they are bad luck in Feng Shui. Artificial flowers and dried flowers of any kind are bad luck in Feng Shui, and I don't follow those things, very, very closely, but certain things I think are very intuitive, and that is one of them. You have something, even though it looks so lovely and real, it is dead, and the energy of it is of a completely artificial thing. But on Christmas, I don't care. So we actually put these right into the tree, and they're very lovely because they just give a extremely elegant look to the tree. And I was inspired to do this after visiting the inn at Rancho Santa Fe in Rancho Santa Fe, California. And this year, I'm hoping to go to Rancho Valencia in Rancho Santa Fe to see their Christmas decorations. There are also these lovely hydrangea, and these as well go into the tree. So that's nice. I'm trying to add more and more white into both my holiday and my permanent decor over the years. Almost like a bit of a palette cleanse. So those are good things, and we'll definitely be using all of those in the tree. These can go right back in the living room. They are not clutter because they are permanent fixtures. Okay, next box. Alright, what do we have here? So, these were once curtain panels in a long, thin entryway window. And they were all sorts of different variations that never worked, and we did something different. So this I have saved for the specific reason to turn into a bunting. This is going to be a very, very quick hand sewing project for me. I'm going to do, you know, a bunting is where it's gathered, festooned, and then kind of like 19th century kind of style. So that'll be very simple but have a nice effect, and that's going to go on the tree. This year I'm adding more yellows and oranges to otherwise a very monochromatic color scheme. Now, I had made the mistake a long time ago a couple of years ago. I made the mistake of thinking that a more traditional or a more monotone Christmas decoration scheme was better, and that is really not correct. It is, especially in the desert where outside the window the flowers are blooming and it's very colorful, it's very boring and it is very out of context to have an extremely traditional Christmas. So I think if you're somewhere that is like the Southern Hemisphere or the American Southwest, the Caribbean, Florida, the tropics, somewhere that doesn't have that traditional Northern Hemisphere weather at Christmas time, I would say incorporate more bright colors. And also remember that Jesus was born in the Middle East, where although it was cold, you know, it is still cold here in the desert compared to what we normally have. It wasn't, Jesus wasn't born in like Norway, for example. So in that respect, you can sort of take the elements from the biblical Christmas and incorporate them into a holiday decor scheme that makes sense in your actual climate. So for us, with all the brightly colored flowers and birds and everything, having a little more bright colors is going to make it a lot more fun. Because as you'll see, I went into a very monochrome phase where my main color was blue and my accents were gold and silver. And the truth of the matter is it's a little bit boring. And that's, you go through all the trouble to decorate, you don't want it to be too much or too little. And boring is not a great statement to come away with. So this is actually silk burlap, and you know, I was gifted this yardage of silk burlap by someone who had the same exact experience with it, in that it's too thin to really cover you up to make something to wear out of it, and it's too rough to wear because it actually is very scratchy. So eventually it became the Christmas tree skirt, and I've just been wrapping it around the bottom all these years, but this year I'm going to actually make it into a gathered Christmas tree skirt, so a certain kitten will have less of a time dragging it around the room and off the tree. So that's going to get some attention with the sewing machine this year. These are all of my hooks. I find it very advantageous to use plastic wrapped soft wire hooks. Now, the soft wire hooks, you can really fine tune how you're attaching things and how you're attaching things to the tree, and then you can always undo it. It's just enough strength to keep it together, and then it's just enough flexibility to take it apart again. So like, for example, with the garland I'll make for my mirrors, this will be what's actually attaching it, and when at the end of the season, I'll take it apart for storage. So I definitely, and then, you know, you can just use these over and over and over and over again. They do have an almost indefinite life. So this is one of the many things that over the years I've painted white, and this was like a bronze. This actually came with my house, which is ironic, not to even choose something for your own Christmas decorations, but there's a couple things that came with the house. So when it was white, it really looked like a snowflake, and I really enjoy having this out in the Christmas season. Usually I put some LED candles or maybe even some napkins or something in there. These are lovely. These are glass icicles or glass snowflakes. This I want to show how important it is to package your delicate ornaments, because I lost a bunch of these to breakage, and it's always unpleasant it's always a shame and dangerous to go through your decorations to find broken glass or porcelain or anything. So this year, I put them in quite well, to the point that I'm breaking the packaging, getting them out. Good job. Okay, these are just lovely. You know, I got these on super sale. I bought them in August of the year that I bought them, and they are so pretty. They catch the light so beautifully, and you know, I have my disabled one-eyed kitten, so I have never put these on the tree since she was born. But I've started putting them around my mirrors because they're so beautiful. I think these might be the best Christmas decorations that I own. So there's really no point in having something that you don't use. I love my kitten, who is going on 3 years now. I love my kitten more than these ornaments. So I think I will continue using them on the mirror, but not on the tree. That's just tempting fate. Way too much. These come in many styles. This gorgeous geometric one. This is a leaf pattern, which I think is very pretty. I think I have a dozen of these. After losing some, I probably have fewer. But rest assured, I won't be doing that again because I do love these things. And I really had an idea in my mind. The first year we were in the desert in California, we had like a tropical day glow decorating scheme, and it was so fun. It was just bright and vibrant, and it was different. No, I'd never had anything like it before or since. But maybe because I got homesick, or just, I don't know why, but I thought in my mind that I wanted to have an extremely traditional red, green, and gold Christmas after that. And I painted all those day glow pine cones red or green or gold or whatever, and you know what, it was so boring. And I look at pictures of that Christmas, and I've never been happier with the end result than that. And that just showed me that it's sometimes, even though it's not traditional, it can be better. You know, you go to the stores, you go to resorts, you go to restaurants, they are decorated traditionally most of the time. So a lot of this stuff is traditional, but I'm trying to make it more fun because it's supposed to be fun. And these are another thing that don't make it on the tree because of the kitten, but they're making it on the mirrors, so that's really something. At least they're making it onto the mirrors. And these also have lots of different styles. So these are lovely, and I had come up with the idea of having this super traditional, basically antique Victorian Christmas at one point. It just came into my mind. So I planned it a year in advance, and I bought things like this in August, and they were just pennies on the dollar. I mean, they were so cheap. But I really got that not vintage, antique look. And you'll see more of the, as I go through, there's more and more of that antique look. So those are the glass ornaments. And then these are shoes, little like porcelain shoes that the Met Museum in New York sells, and they were very big when I was a kid, so I have some lovely shoes, and you'll get to see those when they're on the tree. Oh, this is a nice tray, and this actually came with the house, interestingly enough. These are Bohemian glass. These are Czech crystal, and they're big, meaty, faceted little orbs. And Sometimes I use them on the tree and sometimes I use them on the garland, but they catch the light so beautifully, and they can actually look like nuts, you know, like crystal walnuts, black walnuts, or chestnuts almost. I just love these, and like I said, these were in the house when we bought it. There was a lot of very interesting stuff in the house, but some of it, I mean, and 5 years of decluttering. This is what happens when you buy a furnished house, but you have already 2 households worth of stuff. So we have another shoe, and this is something that we were gifted. It's a little cheese board. This is probably from one of those multi-gift packs at Costco, and those are so great because you can buy them very cheaply and then separate them and give them differently. This is when we went to visit a friend, a neighbor at Christmas time, and we had a hostess gift for her, and she was embarrassed because she didn't have a holiday gift for her. You know, we would never go to someone's house without a gift of some sort, and especially, so this was just like a meaningless thing that she was just embarrassed not to have. We didn't need a gift, it was unnecessary, but probably do the exact same thing and re-gift this to someone if they come in unexpectedly in the holidays. So, I mean, those are all things that will just continue to be used year in and year out. Next box. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, here is the tree topper. You know, this is one of those things that I'm sure it cost a nickel to make, but I was happy to spend the $20 on it because it looks like beautiful mercury glass all the way up 10 feet up near the ceiling. But like I say, if the kitten climbs the tree and knocks it over, it's just the chintziest plastic. It will not do any harm to anyone if it even lasts another year. And it's just battery operated. So this, I resisted buying a plastic chintzy tree topper, but my priorities have changed to preserving life and limb when the kitten does eventually climb the tree. And unfortunately, this year, 3 years going on 4, she is still very much developmentally a kitten. So we're still not tempting fate with a bunch of delicate ornaments on the tree. And here we go. This is what I meant with the monochrome ornaments, and that's what I'm going to try to enhance this year, make a much more colorful palette on top of this. So you can see here, these are all the plastic balls, and you know, these are chintzy, but like I say, they're not going to injure anyone if they go flying. So mostly just silvers and blues. I mean, I love it, but kind of boring. I mean, I'm the one that chose this, so it was a real lesson to me that, you know what, everything doesn't have to be so monochrome and streamlined or traditional or whatever. It can just be a lot more improvisational and a lot more fun and a lot more colorful. This year I will attempt to do that. We'll see how far I go. We'll see. These are lovely. These are just, and I try to keep the glitter out of the house, but these are an exception. And these just get stuck into the tree, and they add like kind of a dimensionality. Oh, here we go. Yay! Now these I've been looking for. Now this is my swag for my mirror above my fireplace, and this I'm going to make into a proper garland this year. And I've been looking for this, and now I don't have to go in the garage because that's really not usually my place to go into. So I was really dreading having to search for these in there. Okay, so now I'm really happy. This is great. And as you can see, over the years I added the beautiful check faceted orbs, and then these little swags on swags. So this is quite nice, and I can't wait to have those up around my mantle, or my mirror over my mantle. I don't have an actual mantle because I didn't do that in the mid-century days, although I do love a big chunky mantle. Not in this house. this is the outdoor box. So these are just very inexpensive bows, but they get reused every year. No need to buy new things every year whatsoever, in my mind. These get put on the outdoor light fixtures. Very, very cheery. And then one of these icicles gets put down as a drop, and it catches the light from the downward light from the outdoor light fixture. Very, very cheery. Oh, here we go. Now these are all of my outdoor ornaments, and these over the years have gone on the tips of all of my aloes and agaves. But this year I have an absolutely beautiful specimen olive tree, and I'm going to pap all of my outdoor decorations just on that one olive tree with plenty of light. So it's going to be a big, gigantic Christmas tree for the whole community. Can't wait for that this year. So rather than having a little decoration all over the hedges and different plants, now I'm going to have it all concentrated in one place, and I think that's going to be more fun. So other than this, I have a couple wreaths that go outside, and like I said, I use them every year. They get smushed and put away and then magically brought back to life. There's no need to keep buying new every year. Well, well covered in glitter, perfect. All right, made it to the last box. So, all of these things, I promise I decluttered before these went into the boxes, but of all of these things I have yet to find anything to declutter. So, as a typical... Okay, so here's something that actually came with the house, and I think this is so sweet. It's a little metal reindeer, and somewhere in here is a little candle holder, and it was a bronze, and it just disappeared. It was like a brownish bronze. So I spray painted it white, and now it just appears. I've given it a little bow to look a little more formal. But I love this piece. This came with the house, and that will be going out soon. Okay, here are the lights for the tree. I love the very old-fashioned but brand new LED strawberry faceted cone lights, or whatever they call these. I just think they have such a nice vintage glow, and yet they don't emit any heat, and they barely use any electricity. So here's a runner that I put over my sideboard just to make it more festive. It also came with the house. Here's the candle holder, and I put an LED candle holder in there, an LED candle in there because I don't burn candles inside the home. And here I just have some more pine cones and some more of my spray painted pine cones for the tree. Oh, but I've also found some natural ones, and that's good because I think maybe I'll just paint my natural ones white this year. That way I can just get a few of them white to add to there, because like I was saying, the problem with the contrast, when I put the natural pine cones on the tree, it just disappears. But white or silver really would stand out. So at least I'll get maybe 5 or 6 white ones on the tree. Now this is something that came with a potted amaryllis that was given to me as a gift, and it's just some very chintzy little, you know, 5-cent thing, but I'm going to spray paint it white, and then the pattern's going to come out, and I'm going to put maybe I'll put towels or something for the bathroom or something in here, and I think that's going to be a very subtle holiday touch in white. So that is on the list of things to paint white. So I'll put these in here. This, I guess, is just a straggler. Okay, now we're really getting into it. So I'm definitely someone that keeps lots of ribbons, because you just never know when you need to add them to a gift or when they'll just finish off a decoration. Oh, isn't this very sweet? Oh, childhood stocking made by Mom. And then there's some more stockings from years past. Okay, now these I use as bows. So I'm sure where this will go somewhere. Maybe I'll go outside this year. This I use just around the very base of the tree because it can get wet. This just came out of a floral arrangement or something. But it just, things like this came off, I don't know what on earth I made this for, but for something completely different. But you know, you save these bits and bobs, and they don't cost anything because they were for something, you know, like I said, completely different. This was free, it came with whatever. But when you use it year after year, it's a great way to not buy something new and to make a little bit more of a home style look. I really suggest that people don't have their homes completely decorated professionally by someone else for Christmas. Do something yourself. Maybe put the ornaments on the tree yourself. Just put your homespun ornaments front and center. The more polished and kind of impersonal you make it, the more you lose. You can always enjoy that style of decorating out in the world, but in your home, I don't think it gets anything better than something like this. Something made with love years and years and years ago when that person is not here anymore. This is what's really special more than any, you know, fancy looking ornament. This is really what makes it Christmas. So I have in my mind that I'll someday do some sort of project with all the Christmas cards. So stay tuned. I don't know. I can't bear to get rid of Christmas cards when they have babies and all kinds of familiar, lovely faces. That's why I give advice on decluttering, because it's hard for me. So I've learned a thing or two about how to actually do it. Otherwise there would be so many more decorations. This mess, and you won't believe how all this wire ribbon comes back to life. So this goes up at the base of the tree, but you know, it may just be taken into a million pieces and made into different bows this year. That's what's great about it. That's what's great about all these bits and bobs. They can just become so many different things. Okay, more ribbon, more ribbon, more ribbon. Alright, now this is for the cats, and they really don't like it. They don't like wearing it. It's very unnatural. They don't like wearing anything, and it's not really fair to make your animals wear clothes. So this will go to the thrift store. These are just little bits and bobs, the lights, and I feel like there's always an advantage to keeping those things because, not to excess obviously, but when a light goes out or something goes out, you have them. Okay, so I found one thing. I promise I decluttered before I put all this stuff away. And it's definitely important to keep things nice and dry, keep them from getting musty. Okay, I guess that's my decluttering pile. Oh, here! Okay. Now this is actually really cool, but this was from my traditional Christmas that I tried to, and didn't really like when I had done. This is a rope, which I really, really like, but red doesn't go with the decor scheme in my house, and it's time someone else can enjoy both of these things now. So this can go off to the donation pile. Alright. Now here, these are my blue lights. So I do blue and multicolor, and the finishing touch, light-wise, are these. These are so great. These are another thing I bought in August when I had the idea to do that antique Victorian Christmas. So I'm taking all the best elements of my favorite Christmas decorations and saving them and letting go of what I don't like. Now, these are so fantastic. They each get a battery, and they have, they can flicker, they can stay on continuously, and they're remote controlled, so you don't have to turn on each one. These make the tree to me. I think the two most important things are probably this and this for why the tree comes together so beautifully every year. But remember, this year I'm on a mission to make it more personal, more homespun, and less polished. Well, that's about it. So thank you so much for joining me for all that to declutter these two things. But you know what? You probably have a lot more. So why don't you bless someone else this Christmas? Bless another family or someone who's just starting out. Do you remember what it was like your first Christmas out on your own? How you just had a couple ornaments, maybe a couple things that you'd secreted off from your family home when you moved, and you just had a few things, but it was so cozy and it was yours, and every little thing you just loved. Now think about all of the ornaments that you could not care less about and will never use. Those could be somebody else's treasure. So this weekend, I want you to declutter your ornaments and donate what you don't need. My name is Brennan, founder of Desert Mountain Apothecary. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to check back in with you to see how these look put up.